Hi guys, welcome back, and once again I'm going to be leading the Orcs into battle with the mighty Grimgor Ironhide, the biggest and the baddest. I'm against Round Disc today, who's going to be leading the Dark Elves, or the Blessed Dread anyway, which are a little sub-faction of the Dark Elves. So a little look at our armies. So I've gone once again for the Savage Orc front line. I tend to switch between Savage Orcs and Black Orcs, depending on the opponent. Dark Elves though have a lot of armor piercing, so I thought Savage Orcs probably going to be more cost effective than like nice tanky Black Orcs. So our front line of these guys gone pretty wide, they're big damage dealers. Now in the back I do have 2 units of Savage Orc Arrow Boys. These guys can fight pretty decent in combat, and it's always nice to have a bit of range just to poke down some of those nice big targets Dark Elves can bring. Now in the very back here I do have 2 Doom Diver Catapults. I just love using these guys. They're quite good against infantry. They really force your opponent to come close to you. I think sometimes the opponent doesn't really expect Orcs to have artillery and they don't prepare for it too well. I do have the Arachnarok Spider over here. Big anti-large killie beast. Not great for any of you guys who are scared of spiders. This big tasty spider though will be able to do a ton of damage. Although it has to be a little bit careful, as once we already said, the Dark Elves do pack a lot of armor piercing punch. Now for our leadership today, we do have the biggest and the baddest Grimgor Ironhide. I've actually used this guy more than any other Orc leader, and considering he's meant to be such a meme, I actually really quite like him. I think he's slightly, underestimated sometimes by opponents, and at least at the end of the day, he's quite tanky. He can pop that war, pop Gitz Nick, and do a little bit of damage. I also have a Night Goblin Shaman over here, just looking all very evil, and he's brought along with him Curse of the Bad Moon, Itchy Nuisance, Vindictive Glare, and Sneaky Stabbing. Now, Sneaky Stabbing and Itchy Nuisance are just so good, super cheap spells, and they're quite, they do a lot of debuffs and buffing themselves. And in the distance here, I do have 2 units of Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, just to do a little bit of harass and apply some poison. Now, for my opponent today, the Dark Elves, is the Dreaded Fleet. So they're going to be led by Lokir Fellheart over here, who's going to be on foot. He can take a dragon. He is super tanky, this guy. He's got a Sea Dragon Cloak. He's very good duelist, good against lots of infantry, so he should be quite a tough nut to crack. Now for the front line, my opponent has gone for the majority of Black Ark Corsairs. These guys will do decent against most Orc infantry, although they're not the most elite. A couple of units of Bleak Swords as well out on the flanks. Now in the centre, he has the really hardcore infantry here. The Blades of the Blood Queen, which is a regiment of renowned executioners. These guys are going to absolutely tear most Dark Elf infantry apart, Orc infantry, and also, to be honest, if you find Dark Elves, better tear them apart quite nicely as well. And they'd be perfect for taking down those nasty Black Orcs, but luckily I haven't brought any today. So he's also got a couple of units of Dark Shards with shields in the back for that armor piercing damage. So there's 3 units of those guys. He also has some Dread Spears in the back to protect from any backline harass. He's also got a couple of units of Cold One Knights. These guys are very scary for me, as they'll be able to take out pretty much all Orc cavalry, and they'll just be a bit of a nuisance. My opponent also has a Sorceress of Beast up in the air on her Flying Pegasus, so be very cool. And she uses them in a very cool way I haven't seen much before. So without further ado, let's get underway. Oh, I also forgot, I do have 1 unit over here. I have the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins. These guys are just here for a little bit of anti-large and a little bit of counter. So we are firing the Doom Diver Catapults early on. First couple of rounds went into the Black Ark Corsairs, however, now I've switched my targets to the Blades of the Blood Queen, this big expensive unit. You can see they've already taken a little bit of damage. And there goes another goblin, a couple of goblins crashing in. And you can see they're already getting turned up pretty bad. So Orc Arrow Boys are now firing in as the army does come crashing towards me. I've managed to do a nice little bit of early poke damage with these Goblin Doom Divers. I do pop the ward just in time as my units do start to charge in. Now Savage Orcs with the War Pop have a crazy attack of 56, so I should be getting in there and doing a very decent amount of damage. As you can see on the left flank, I've already managed to rout off one of these units of Black Ark Corsairs with the help of the Savage Orc Arrow Boys as well. Now in the distance, I do have my Forest Goblin Spider Riders, who are starting to do a little bit of harass on these Cold One Knights. I consider them quite a big threat, so I'm trying to just snipe them down, poison them and do as much damage as possible. Does look like a spell's being dropped over here on these Dark Shades, and it is the Curse of the Big Bad Moon. It's done quite a nice lot of damage there. Unfortunately for me though, it has kind of skittered away over this direction instead of going through any of these other units. Now Grimgor and the Arachnarok Spider are both trying to double team up on Lokir Fellheart here. However, he has popped all his buffs and there's some Dread Spears nearby, who can do quite a lot of nice damage against the big spider. The opponent is starting to get around the flanks here with these Cold One Knights. Unfortunately, I do miss this, and I completely forget to micro my Savage Orcs, And they're just going to stand here and watch these cold ones just jog lightly by, straight into my back line and onto these archers. A bit of a misplay by me. Big vindictive glare going down there into the sorceress, but not doing too much damage. Ragnarok's queen, or not queen, sorry, spider, has taken a ton of damage already, which is quite unfortunate for me. I wish this was the queen version, but that's on the Orc DLC. So it looks like she is going to start running for the hill. She's almost broken. Have Grimgor is nearby, and he's going to pop down his ground, trying to keep her in the fight. And he himself is actually putting a bit of a whooping on Luca here. As you can see, Luca is almost down to half health already. Now these little forest goblins right here are going to be crashing into the back line, trying to get onto his dark shard and shut them down. Who themselves have done a lot of damage to the big spider, helping out these spearmen. And my opponent now is all over my back line. Some great back line harassed by him. He's forced these black arcs into the back, plus these units of cold ones. And at this point I pretty much gave up on my back line. The archers are running, the doom diver catapults are both offline, so I was mainly focusing on pushing forwards. There is this unit of savage orcs here who are trying to hold back. You know, they're not doing too bad against these black orc Arthayers, but with the cold one knights coming in, these guys are really going to struggle. My main power is now kind of, in the forefront. Great shot there by my opponent's wizard, taking down the Night Goblin Shaman, who is actually starting to run from that. So I believe that's called the Amber Spear. I haven't seen it too much in play, so that's actually quite nice to see. It's been doing a lot of damage throughout the battle. Luckily though, Grimgor is still pretty healthy and he's pushing into his back line. He did manage to defeat Lokir Felheart in single 1-to-1 combat and has completely shattered him, and he's now going to be running in, chasing away these dark shards. Though the sorceress is jumping in and done quite a lot of damage there with some rear attacks, however she definitely does not want to stick around, because Grimgor will quite easily crush her in combat. So my opponent has kind of won his left flank over here, and I managed to win the right flank. However, I've now pushed around, and I finally remembered these Savage Orc War Boy Biggins, who I'm going to claim I left in reserve for this late game plays. So they're going to be coming around and try and unite with my main force, as I do have a lot of units rallying up here as well. Savage Orc Araboys and Savage Orcs in general. Who orcs, they like to run away, but they like a good scrap, and they like coming back into the main fight. Ragnarok's spider, keep trying to call her queen. Need to sort out my tongue with that one. The Ragnarok spider is looking like it's running away, and I don't think there's much chance of her escaping or coming back. However, I am now going to backline fully, and I've shut down most of the dark shards, apart from this unit over here. However, with a war pops, these Savage Orc War Boy Biggins are turning, and they're going to absolutely crump these guys to death. Spiders are still online. They're just doing a little bit of kind of constant fire into the cold one knight, what they have been doing most of the battle, trying to just poison them and slow them down, while Grimgor really goes to town on these elite Dark Elf infantry. He's supporting the Savage Orcs now, who are very close to starting to rout. They're doing great throughout this battle, and they're up to 95 kills. Grimgor, though, it's the real MVP, stand in the ground, swarming Dark Elves from all angles, but he does not care. He's just going to be hacking them down. Now, there's a bit of a dodgy situation going on here for me. The Savage Orcs are up against, or the War Boys, are up against the Cold One Knights. Now, Cold One Knights are anti-large. The Savage Orc War Boy Biggins are no pushovers, and they're also pretty damn good against enemy cav. They have sneaky stabbing popped on them, and with this constant fire for the forest goblins, poisoning everything, and doing a bit more damage, hopefully to bring down these units. But in return, I am taking a ton of damage over there. Luckily, I've got all these units that have rallied. These Orc Araboys are legging it as far as they can from these Black Arc Corsairs, but these other archers are firing in, and I've got some Savage Orcs coming back to the face. Although, luckily, Grimgor did look like he managed to absolutely shatter off the sorceress there. Once again, proving who is the biggest and the baddest, and he's just a beast at the moment. Crushing all these Dark Elves that are getting flung at him. There's a nice bit of rallying going on over here, with my Shaman coming back to the play, dropping all kinds of nice buffs with sneaky stabbing. The Cold Ones are the only thing that can really threaten me now, and they are being faced off by this constant arrow harass. And with that, here's a Pyrrhic victory for the Orcs, which is all good. So let's go to the end stats. So very well played by my opponent there, Round Disc. I was actually really impressed with his Sorceress play. I haven't seen that Amber Spear used too much, but it was great, used to great effect here. It almost completely broke off the Night Goblin Shaman, and luckily he did manage to rally, but got him off the field quite quickly. Now he went quite cheap on the front line, apart from, of course, these Blades of the Blood Queen. And this would be normally really quite good against Orcs, but against the Savage Orcs, once they've popped the War as well, you can see they've got some crazy kills on them. 118, 142. However, these guys also stood their ground pretty good, 113 kills here. They did pretty decent overall. So well played to my opponent. It was a great game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm loving Grimgor, obviously, being one of the real MVPs. 68 kills, and managed to take down both my opponent's leaders, so very good there. Some big kills, on most units all around. Never missed micro, leaving these guys, in the woods as kind of all the orcs got killed around them. However, it kind of, luckily worked in my favour towards the end, where I had this full, really energetic, they hadn't been in the battle at all unit, just to come in and really kind of crush down on some of these tougher Cold One knights at the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, all that kind of usual good stuff. I do have a Patreon account in the description below if you guys do want to support the channel. All money that goes into the channel goes back into the channel in the form of DLCs and so forth. And if you become a Patreon, you get to vote on what DLCs and campaigns I do next. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace, peace. See you next time.